Hey, everybody, it's another coffee chat with a great friend and colleague of mine. His name is Josh Ruiz. I'm so excited to have him here today. We're going to have some coffee as usual, or at least I am. I'm not Josh. Josh has got his coffee.
Indeed.
We're going to have some coffee and we're going to talk some good business stuff and give you some great, valuable info on scaling your business, your marketing, whatever comes to mind as Josh and I get talking. So, Josh, go ahead and introduce yourself to my peeps and let's get going here.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you, Sophie, for the invite. Appreciate you. As Sophie said, my name's Josh Ruiz. I'm with the MVP How to Become More podcast. Sophie was a guest on the show. And then outside of that, I have an insurance agency. I'm licensed in 19 states, primarily serving the senior market on Medicare, supplemental, and life insurance products. And then the podcast is truly about just highlighting entrepreneurs, like Sophie herself and others to be empowered and fired up so they can be the MVP of their life and their business. And our MVP slogan is about your mission, your vision, and your passion, right? Most entrepreneurs, they get in business because, maybe they don't want to work for somebody else. They want to have that control, right? But at the end of the day, you got to have passion and you got to have service orientation to really reach high levels of success. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, thank you for having me, Sophie. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's we had so much fun on the podcast that I had to bring you over to my coffee chats because we just can have more fun now. So
yeah.
So go a little bit into, what your philosophy, your strategy, how you help people either scale their business, do their marketing, whatever it is your sweet spot.
Yeah. So, I think on, scaling and marketing, marketing is definitely, I wouldn't say that's necessarily my strong suit. I definitely embrace outsourcing things that I'm not really good at. Right. What I think one of the big keys that I believe that has helped me be successful and really is a universal law, if you will, is mindset. Right. If anybody that has the right mindset can acquire the skill set. Right. But on the other side, if you have an enormous skill set, but you have a terrible mindset, well, it's going to be very challenging to overcome that. So I think it starts, from the internal with the mind between the ears, as we say, and having that, that clarity, right? What is your vision? What is your mission? What are you passionate about? And how do you put those pieces together day in and day out? The world is so ever changing. We have all these distractions. We have all these things that are pulling our attention, and to stay laser focused on your mission, right? And keeping yourself at a high level of vibration, of positivity, and really service orientation, right? I go back to that service orientation. When you serve others, you will then be served yourself.
I love that. And I'm so with you on that because, I didn't really get anywhere in my business until I got into the mindset side of it. And I mean, I've always been a service-based business. So I've been of service, but it is definitely next level of service when you work on your own mindset and get really in touch with all the things that are holding you back internally, because it's not just about doing the work. I mean, because everybody can do the work. That used to be work hard, hustle, do the work. And while you do need to do the work, it's not magical thinking. You can't sit on the couch and go, I want to make $1 million and poof, it's there. That's not how it works. But there are things in your upbringing, in your life. I mean, and there's even people in your life that hold you back. And that's all a part of the mindset, being who you want to be, and knowing what you're passionate about, what you're on fire for, because that's really what's going to get you going there. So Josh, do you help people find their passion and help them upgrade that mindset, so to speak? Is that what you kind of do with your people, with your clients and your business and the podcast?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, with the insurance, that's pretty self-explanatory. What I help educate and empower people on that. With the podcast, I have a co-host, Francois Lepien, and his business. He's a mindset coach, specifically, teaching the practices of Bob Proctor and thinking into results. And so, with bringing Francois into the podcast, my role is just, being able to share what Francois does and really what the program does. I mean, Francois is a key because, people are the key behind everything, right? But the material and Bob Proctor and all of that stuff that they really teach, I'm a personal student of it. And I think, a lot of people misunderstand mindset is a lifelong thing, right? You can do courses and learn it and practice it and implement it, but it's about the practice of it every day, right? If you look at, high level athletes or, successful business people, they practice every single day. Tiger Woods is without question, the best golfer, right? I think we can all agree to that. He out practices anybody in his field. And that's what makes him the best. He's not competing with others. He's competing with himself. And with that, I come back around to say that the podcast is about getting people connected, right? I mean, we're able to connect with you, and it's really about building a community, right? Networking. They say that, your network is your net worth. And at the end of the day, I mean, podcasting and being able to put out content and highlight people like yourself and other great entrepreneurs, it builds that community and it builds that following and it builds that reputation that, hey, this person is trustworthy, right? You can count on them, right? I mean, I was just telling somebody about what you do, right? And I would say Sophie is the person that you would need to contact, right? When it comes to business and project management, because that's what she does, right? And so I guess bringing it all back together, again, it's just really about networking and getting people fired up. That's really what I love to do and share, the mindset thing. And so we can all vibrate on a higher wavelength. I truly believe that we can all have prosperity and abundance in our life. And we just have to grow together, right? Rise the tide. I think Francois said it best. He said, when the tide rises, all the boats rise, right? There's not one that's left without the other. But you have to be in the harbor, right? And the harbor is the network.
Yes. I love that. And that's one thing I talk about to people, my clients, people I connect with. You're not in this alone. So many people think that, they're once a solopreneur, always a solopreneur. And that's all you need is just me to get there. And it's like, there's so much more to it. There's community, there's coaching and mentoring, there's building a team to support you in your business, because it's so unlikely that you're going to reach the success that you really want by yourself. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to do that unless you are just your pricing on whatever you offer is so high that it doesn't take much to get that money. That's great. But you don't want to do it alone anyway. When you're surrounded by like-minded people, when you have a team that can stand by you and go, hey, we're doing this, but have you thought about doing that? Because this could add more value to your clients. This could put, your mission could have more impact in the world. Because when you are mission driven, when you're spiritually oriented, when you really are there to be of service and help people, the more you can get out there, the more you can have impact. But not doing it alone and killing yourself, the better it will all be for everyone. So I love the community building, and the community building is the whole community, the network, your team, your coach or mentor, and those 5 people you surround yourself with. It's like you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. Make sure those 5 people are high caliber, like-minded, supportive cheerleaders, because people don't think about the cheerleader support aspect of what you're doing. You absolutely need those people behind you cheering you on, because when you have a down day, when you have a rough go of it, something happens and you try to battle that by yourself, it's so hard to bounce back, and it takes longer, and some people don't even bounce back when they do it by themselves. So I love the whole community building and all of that, and yet I love Francois. And FYI, Francois is coming on the coffee chat in a couple of weeks, so you'll get to see his part of the conversation in a week or so. So I'm loving that. We got both of you on here. So Josh, any last words of wisdom, tips, advice that you want to give before we kind of wrap this up?
Yeah, I will give something. I was on, again, taking this back to kind of the Bob Proctor community, with thinking into results. I was on a paradigm shift. They had like a week-long series, and one of the things that they mentioned is to see the power that's unseen, right? A lot of us don't realize that our mind is the power that operates and pushes out, everything that we do, right? But you have to believe and you have to visualize and see that power that's unseen, right? That you can't visualize. You have to imagine it, right? And the other thing they said is first be, then do, and then you will have, right? And if we kind of unpack that, you have to be that person, right? Whatever you're seeking to do, you have to be that person and you have to practice it, right? And then you have to put the actions behind that, right? And then the results will follow, right? And one of the things that has helped me immensely, and again going back to the thinking and the results, there's a huge difference in what people know and what people do, right? We know an enormous amount of information, but what we
Right.
do and what we actually take action on is usually a mile apart from one another. And when one has the ability to really understand that concept and narrow the gap, you put yourself on such a high level of vibration that you truly have no limit on what your potential and what you can achieve, in whatever your goal or your beliefs are. And so I leave you with that thought that, if you don't have a coach, or if you're in a rough place, or you're not sure how to get to the next level, again, like Sophie said, it's all about community. Reach out to Francois, to myself, to Sophie, to whoever is in your influence, right? Everyone needs a coach and a mentor in their life. Doesn't matter what level of success you're at. If we take it back to Tiger Woods, people may think that he's one man. I guarantee you Tiger Woods has, 5, 6, 7 coaches helping him perfect his craft. I guarantee you he's got somebody keeping his mind sharp and feeding him and embracing positivity so that he vibrates at a high level and can be sharp at all times. I guarantee you. So you need to have people around you, like Sophie said, the 5 people that are closest to you are going to kind of be a product of, are going to kind of influence your outcome. Get around with like-minded people. Get around people that are at a higher level than you. And that's going to give you that reaching factor, right? If you're the smartest person in the room, well, kudos to you, but you should be reaching to get in a room of people that are much smarter than you so that you can grow and you can reach and you can see how to get to that next level.
I love that. And just one little note there is when you're in that room where the people are higher than you and more successful than you, it's not a comparison thing. You're not going to compare yourself and go down that rabbit hole of, oh my God, look at Joe over there. He's making so much more than me. No, that's not what this is about. This is about working with them, talking to them, it's sitting down at the table. And and this is a group of people that yes, you may pay some of them to be your coach, but some of them are going to let you pick their brain too, and really dive into how they achieve their success, and then you can apply it to your life and your business in the way that works for you, because this isn't a cookie cutter thing either. It's not like, oh, Joe over here got his business, his millions of dollars doing it this way, I'm going to do exactly that. And then you're out of tune with who you are and what you're doing. You lose your authenticity, you lose who you are as a person, and that comes through in what you're trying to put out there. And then people, they don't run away from you, but you definitely don't attract the success and the people that you need to attract, because you're trying to be somebody you're not, because you're trying to emulate that person instead of learn from them and then adapt it to how it fits you, your life, and your business. So excellent points, Josh. Love it. So where can people find you and the podcast and learn more about all of that?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. I think it's the Josh Ruiz is I don't know what you call it, the handle or not, but it's so THEE. And don't ask me where that came from. I think I transitioned it from something else. So the Josh Ruiz is the LinkedIn. On Instagram, it's the MVP Cast. How to Become More Podcast. I think the handle is just the MVP Cast. And then on Facebook, same thing. And then we have a YouTube channel. We go live every Wednesday at 1:00 Eastern Standard Time on those various channels. We don't do Instagram. You can't do live on there, but we're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Facebook and also on the YouTube. We tested out StreamYard last week, and we were able to broadcast all of them simultaneously. So it worked out pretty cool. So we will be live on Wednesdays at 1:00. And yeah, if you check us out on any of those handles, we'll be happy to help you out and bring you into the community. And then, like Sophie said, Francois will be on here. You said next week, right?
Yeah, next week Francois is coming on, and we're going to have a nice chat with. I'm going to have a nice chat with Francois next week.
Awesome. Yeah, and just even I want to leave on a note that, like, don't be afraid to understand that not everybody is for everybody, right? Sophie and I obviously gel, and that's why we're here having this conversation. I may not be your cup of tea, right? Francois may not be the right person for you. That being said, though, it doesn't have to paralyze you to find the right person that is there to mentor you, right? And another thing I want to mention is success leaves clues, right? I forget who said it best, but books are imperative. If you're not reading on a regular basis, you're missing the boat. You gotta read, and it's like exercise, right? When you read, it's exercise for your mind and your brain, right? I mean, that's why we drink coffee, so we can get fired up and read and run our businesses.
Absolutely.
So, yes, that's where y'all can find me. Sophie, thank you so much. I love the concept of the coffee chat. I think it's amazing, and we're having some coffee and just having a great conversation. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you, for joining me for coffee today, and for having me on the podcast a few weeks ago. And definitely going to stay in touch and hang out in your community and all of those great things. And of course, to all the people watching and listening today, we will see you next week with Francois Lupien, the other half of Josh's podcast hosting. And y'all have a great weekend, because it is Friday. We will see you all next week.
Make it a great day.